7th of December 22. It's Wednesday, and I'm talking about the energy policy in England to do with online wind farms. And I heard that they made a change last night, and I'm guessing, I've not actually checked, but I'm guessing the change is onshore wind farms can happen now in England and Wales. No, England actually, just England. But only if they get permission from the local people or whatever. And it really is so stupid that England haven't. Yeah, England sort of banned onshore wind farms. 2015, I think it was Cameron's government. And it's just such a terrible mistake because it's the cheapest form of energy, I think. Up in Scotland, we've got big, massive wind farms everywhere, and they're beautiful things, really. Not only that, really they're national parks up here. You can go and cycle through them or walk through them. I mean, that one up Whiteley near Eaglesham, near Glasgow, I think that's the biggest one in Scotland. I mean, it's just fantastic to cycle through or walk through. I mean, before they had the wind farm there, it would either been farms or it would have been just moorland, I think. Really inaccessible to the public. But now that they've got the big tracks to let their big lorries through and all that, or whatever they take through. I mean, they do take some heavy equipment through. You've got, you can be in there for hours through the trees, forests, and they've got these sort of wind farms everywhere in Scotland. I mean, in Scotland we've got really cheap energy, but for some reason, I don't know, we're all being charged the same price. I don't know how that's ended up. It seems to end up whatever gets made, created, all just goes into one marketplace and all gets charged at the same price. I think it's whatever's the dearest or something, and in the moment that's gas, really. And it's just bizarre that England took so long. And funnily enough, Boris Johnson's one of the ones who's put his name down as a group of rebels to try and force Rishi Sunak to change his mind about it, because the government policy since 2015 has always been, in England, has always been not to allow onshore wind farms. Now, like a month after his Prime Minister, Boris has been a rebel and saying he wants onshore wind farms in England because they totally make sense. They're the cheapest thing. It just goes to show that they done that just to please their Tory voters. They just felt they would lose too many Tory votes, probably old guys and that, who haven't really thought it through. And but really, if I was the Prime Minister in that situation, and I would just say, I'm in favour of onshore wind farms, try and persuade the people. But I would also say, but I'm not going to do it because I would get elected out of government. I would lose the election, so I can't really do it. And Tony Blair said that about nuclear. I remember him saying at the time, he said, we need to have a debate about energy. I'm in favour of nuclear. We need to hear what everyone's going to say. And his government, I think, didn't end up doing nuclear again because probably voters didn't want it, especially the Greens. The Greens would have put a lot of pressure on them. And so we've ended up in the situation we are. But at least Tony Blair said he's in favour of thingy. But he didn't feel that he could do it through because he felt he would lose the election, and that was around about 2007 or something. And it just goes to show you, that's what I would do if I was Prime Minister. And I would say things like, I'm in favour of this, but I don't feel I've got the support for it. If I ever do, I'd like to enact it, but I don't feel I've got support for it, so I'm not going to enact it. As I've said anyway, I don't think our political system works, where you get parties and they introduce their party hampers, because it's looking like Rishi, a lot of stuff, he's dumping a lot of stuff that he said in his election thing, which he lost to Liz Truss. That thing he went on about the NHS, he would charge £10 for missed appointments. I think that's all been binned now. And it just goes to show you that they come up with all these ideas, and then when they get in government they bin them, because they're seeing it from another angle now. They're seeing if they introduce it they'll lose votes, really. That's probably what it comes down to. But on the energy one, it's been absolutely ridiculous, because onshore wind is now the cheapest form of thing, even more than offshore wind, because offshore wind you're not in total control of. You've got overheads and that, not literally, I mean financially. So, I mean, and then with, like I say, up in Scotland, I regard them as national parks. And then once you're done with them, well, you can dismantle them. I guess the foundation's still there, but I'm guessing they might take that away as well. But then you can just go back to whatever it was. Because I think the ultimate thing we should all be aiming for is for everyone to be independent, each house to be independent. Especially with solar, you should be solared up to the gunnels. It doesn't look as if wind turbines are much use in your house. Not that I've heard of recently. I don't know about they sort of, what do you call them, pump things. They're talking about heat pumps and that, because from what I've heard you just can't get enough heat out of them, you know. But then if they did do that, then I would just use it as part of the source, and I would heat it up even more if I needed, you know, even for a shower. I've heard people say that even for a shower you can't get that really the heat that you want, or you can only get it for a couple of minutes and then it goes. So to me that's no use. So I would just fit an electric shower as well, probably in that situation. If it's good enough for the heating, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's the same, we had that with LED lights as well, that they just weren't putting enough watts into them to make them equivalent to the old incandescent ones, like 100 watts and that. They had them too low, around about say 8 watts. Now they're back up to about 13 watts, maybe even higher, 15 watts. You know, to be realistic, to get the brightness, the lumens. But I'm totally in favour of green energy and all that. I would call myself a realistic green. You know, I'm not like the Green Party, who are just absolutely ridiculous. I would like to see everybody driving electric cars. Everyone that can afford it now should get one, in my opinion. You should be solared up with your house. We should be looking to make each house almost energy independent as much as we can. So that's my thoughts on it. It's just weird seeing Rishi Sunak change his mind. I don't know whether he done that because he believes in it or now he feels that he can. But it is ironic to see Boris was in one of the rebel groups that about a week and a half ago signed a letter saying we want onshore wind farms, because he was a Prime Minister a month ago and he didn't do anything about it in the 2.5 years that he was a leader or whatever he was. So it just goes to show you how messed up they are, because onshore wind farms was probably the most ridiculous policy that the government had as a stance for England, you know, because Scotland and Wales, I'm guessing, have got onshore wind farms all over the place. So there you go, that's all I've got to say about that. I just heard Rishi Sunak quoted about his position in online onshore wind farms back in August when he was in the Premiership thing. Heard it in the Nigel Farage show, and it was actually Lawrence Fox that's hosting it this week. And yeah, he said they asked him, are you going to allow onshore wind farms, and he said no. So It really is bizarre that he took that position, Boris did, Theresa May did, David Cameron started it. It just doesn't make any sense at all, and now Boris is saying he's all in favour of it a month later. So it just goes to show, like, once they are the Prime Minister or whatever, they can sort of do things that whatever they like as long as it doesn't get too much publicity. But, you know, it was a no-brainer. They should have onshore wind farms. They should have from the start and always shouldn't have banned it. Scotland's now way ahead. I mean, we've got 100% green electricity now. I think most of it's wind, some of it's hydro, not much though. I saw the guy from, I think it's Scottish Power, and he said that they sold all their hydro dams because they're so high maintenance and all that. They're just not as practical as wind farms and the likes. So maybe someday the hydro ones will go, at least the ones that we've got just now. If they can find tidal ones or whatever, that would be different. But it just goes to show Rishi's done that. He's done a lot of things he's U-turned on, and I'm not very impressed. I was impressed with him during the leadership race, and from what I knew of him before that, but I really am wondering about him now. It just seems like, especially with having Jeremy Hunt as a Chancellor, you know, because I saw someone from Patriotic Millionaires who have a Twitter account, and they promote that the rich pay more in tax and all that. And the GB News asked their representative, was he happy about the budget? Did it tax him enough? He said he wasn't happy at all. It was pathetic how little they were taking from the rich. You know, it was mostly the middle class, I think they were saying. He thought they were, not the rich. They were getting away with it. So, it's all bizarre and all that, you know. I regard myself as a green realist fanatic, you know. I don't know about net zero because I don't even really know what it means. But I definitely want, like Donald Trump used to say, I want clean air, clean water. I want everything green, but only if it's practical. I mean, the car is one of the greatest inventions of all time. There's no way you'll get me on a bus or a train or whatever. Okay, goodbye. Same goes for planes. You need to make planes, electric planes. They are doing some now. I know they're very short range and that, but I'm sure that's the way we'll go. We just need to get there quicker than everyone's talking.